Welcome to the MGM Resorts NBA Summer League 2018. We are at the Cox Pavilion on the campus of UNLV. Final 2 games of day number 4 at Summer League. It will be the Milwaukee Bucks taking on the Denver Nuggets, who have opened at 2-0. And sitting courtside with Seth Greenberg, I'm Mark Kestisher. We welcome you here courtside. And of course, for the Milwaukee Bucks, they have split the first 2 games of this series to start here. All the teams are going to play 3 games, and they're going to reseed everything. We'll have the tournament starting beginning on Wednesday, the knockout portion of the tournament, hoping to see Dante DiVincenzo, their first-round pick.
Yeah, hoping to see him, but he's not going to play today. And look, the most important thing is for him to get healthy. You're not going to risk Dante DiVincenzo's continued progression, just in a summer league game. But you know what? They do have a guy, DJ Wilson, who they want to get a chance to see. He's a guy that kind of exploded last year, a long, athletic guy that can defend multiple positions, and he needs quality minutes. Only played in 22 games last year.
Well, Dante DiVincenzo was the 17th overall pick, and of course had 31 points off the bench in the NCAA title game, the most outstanding player. For the latest on him, let's welcome in Cassidy Hubbard.
Thanks, Cassie. Yeah, I just ran into Dante, asked him how he's doing. He says, yeah, I'm doing all right. The positive news is that he was able to work out with the team today, and the team said they're cautiously optimistic that he will return for tournament play, which starts on Wednesday. He has that right groin strain, and the injury occurred a few weeks back. He's been receiving treatment since arriving in Milwaukee, but he's been working out with the team, learning all the team sets. So the team is hoping he'll be back out here, as he's missed, today will be his 3rd game here at Summer League.
All right, Cassidy, thank you so much. And so Dante DiVincenzo, we'll see. And we mentioned DJ Wilson, as you had started to talk about. It's a very big camp for him after being a draft choice in Milwaukee a year ago.
He's a prospect, and he's still a prospect. You look at his length, you look at his athleticism, his ability to shoot the ball, but a very small sample size coming out of Michigan. Played in 22 games. This second year, he's got to take a step forward. He has the potential to do it because of his size and the strength of his athleticism. Now he's got to go and do it with the opportunity.
Let's talk about the Denver Nuggets, who've won their first 2. No Malik Beasley tonight. He's going to rest a wrist injury that he banged up. Devon Akoon-Purcell, though, is going to get his start, and he's looked pretty good.
Akoon-Purcell is a guy that's kind of turned heads here in the summer league. 6'5", extremely athletic, can finish plays really hard, can defend multiple positions. Kid played at Illinois State, has been overseas, but he's a guy that is trying to play his way in to a roster spot.
Let's give you the lineups for tonight's game as we get set for the Nuggets and the Bucks. And joining Devon Akoon-Purcell, Monte Morris, outstanding guard. Tyler Lydon, who did not play in the back-to-back, will be in the starting lineup. Sterling Brown, you can see over with DJ Wilson on the Milwaukee Bucks side. And we are underway with the Nuggets in white. And already a foul right off the opening tip.
Nuggets ball.
I absolutely loved Monte Morris. I thought he was just a terrific college player. Doesn't turn it over, gets you in offense, shoots it well enough to keep you honest. Another guy, this is a big opportunity for him.
Monte Morris, who played on a 2-way contract with the Denver Nuggets a year ago. And there's a coveted spot for the Nuggets as we get into their training camp, and that is who is going to be the backup to Jamal Murray at the point guard for Denver. Milwaukee in the green, and here's DJ Wilson, who we spoke about in the open. Milwaukee defeated the Pistons big on Friday and then lost to the Dallas Mavericks yesterday by 3 points. Shot clock at 5. Ball in the hands of Travis Trice out of Michigan State. Late in the shot clock, had to just chuck one up, was looking for contact.
You could see Akoon's aggressiveness, looking to make a play, but on balance. Kennedy Meeks, another guy that's trying to get an opportunity. Looks in pretty good shape, the big fella from North Carolina.
Riding with the extra pass to Kenrich Williams, rookie out of TCU, missing from outside. Williams trying to get the contact call, none given. 3-pointer missed out of the corner by Christian Wood, who has played his college basketball right here at UNLV. He and Brandon McCoy both on this Milwaukee Bucks Summer League roster. And Wood has had double-doubles to open up.
An undrafted guy that has a load of potential. He's been around the block, extremely athletic, and a guy that this is his opportunity on a team with some long athletic dudes, and he's trying to earn himself not only a roster spot, the attention of maybe other teams as well.
Non-shooting foul. Both teams have combined to miss 5 shots here in the opening minute and 42 seconds. Sterling Brown, who was a part of the Bucks rotation with the big team with the feed down low. Wilson finds the first basket of the game. He had 17 points against the Pistons in their opener. Went for 7 and 7 rebounds yesterday. Morris netting from the baseline.
Morris really good off the bounce, has all kinds of runners and ways to finish. And Sterling Brown, what he is, he's not a great athlete, but he is physically strong and he can defend multiple positions. He has a toughness about him, played for Larry Brown for a while, and he really understands, as Coach Brown would say, how to play the right way. DJ Wilson, here's a guy, he's got to take the next step. Nice job in catching in traffic, using the shot fake. A guy a little bit like Zach Collins that's got to get stronger in his lower body, and he's got to play with a little bit better base and balance.
Barnett knocking out a triple from the left wing. That's Jordan Barnett out of Missouri, of course, was the team with Michael Porter Jr. He did not participate in the NCAAs, a suspension for Barnett.
Barnett started at Texas and really has good size, very good defender.
Kennedy Meeks has a nice feathery touch for a big guy at 6'10".
He's like your golf short game, very feathery.
He's the antithesis of it. DJ Wilson right of the mark that time, and Morris going to bring it right up the gut. That'll slow it up and set the half set for the Nuggets. Meeks, nice cross-court pass. Kenrich Williams can't convert. Sterling Brown was off the ball in the minutes that he played in Milwaukee last year, and that's one of the things they're looking for here this year as Tyler Lydon commits the foul on Wood, is him with the ball and creating and being more of an offensive presence.
And, he uses size and strength to get into the lane, and his physicality, he handles it well enough, and he can use his strength to get over people. He's a willing passer for sure, and, he's one of those what I would call a blend guy and a second unit guy that understands who he is, and he's got a toughness about him. And I like big point guards. I like big physical, what I call ball guards, guys that have versatility in their game, and he's one of those guys.
I think the Milwaukee Bucks think they called a timeout, and the officials are saying, hang on a sec, get back to the free throw line. We got free throws coming here. So they got kind of a mini free timeout as Christian Wood will go to the free throw line. Summer League.
Ivy League guys coaching the Bucks.
Can you hit the green light?
Taylor Jenkins, he's a Penn guy looking for an advantage every way possible. You know those Ivy League guys are.
Christian Wood at the line. Homecoming for him at UNLV. Played 2 years for the Runnin' Rebs.
Second year was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably should have stayed one more year. And not in terms of just his basketball, but his maturity and be able to deal with what is the NBA and trying to earn a spot, because it's not just basketball. It's all the other things away from the court.
He had set up a party at Caesar's Palace down the road for draft night. There was a picture of him with his kind of head in his hands as he was undrafted, but he's worked on his game.
And his body.
And his body. Was an all-star in the G League last year. And he has had 2 outstanding games here at the Summer League. Sterling Brown with the basket.
And that's Sterling Brown using his strength to put the defender on his hip and finish through contact.
Well, Dante DiVincenzo not playing as he continues to deal with the strained right groin. And there have been some nagging injuries all around Summer League. The report from actually the Sacramento Kings announcing Marvin Bagley's Summer League is finished. Turns out a pelvic bone bruise, Seth. We were there for that game when he left late in the game. They're going to rest him for the next week and a half, the number 2 pick in the draft. We'll tell you more about that. Talk about more Summer League timeout here with the Bucks leading early.
Summer League 2018 is brought to you by One a Day with Nature's Medley and Nutro Wholesome Essentials Pet Foods. Nutro, feed the clean.
Welcome back to Las Vegas at Cox Pavilion, where the Bucks lead Denver 8-4 here early in this Summer League game, the third and final preliminary game for both these teams before everybody's seated for the tournament. Three-point shot is good right out of the timeout. Devon Akun-Purcell.
And there's his versatility. He plays really hard. He can put it on the floor. He can shoot the ball to the three-point line. And he really defends. He's got a maturity to his body and his game.
Christian Wood answering on the other end. Akun-Purcell went to Denmark, and he delivered in 2 years in the Danish league. Won a couple of titles, a league MVP. And I think a pretty good title as well, the FIBA Euro Cup Guard of the Year last year. Some pretty good talent has come out of Europe as Akun-Purcell missing that time. Tim Quarterman's been a veteran bouncing around the league, 10-day contracts, wearing 55 in green in the game now for Milwaukee.
Quarterman's got good size and extremely athletic. Played with Ben Simmons at LSU that 1 year, and just the chemistry wasn't right. But when you look at his talent, he can make shots. He's got good length. He should be a good defender. And he's a guy that is trying to, again, play his way into a roster spot.
So we'll pick up on that Marvin Bagley news because we went right to break as Sterling Brown misses the three. Just the risk reward. You bring in the young guys, you want to see them play, you want to get used to the NBA style in practice. We saw Trae Young go down with the quad. They're not huge injuries, they're nagging injuries. What's your take as Bagley will sit the next week?
I think if it's during the season, there's a difference between being injured and inconvenienced. But if you're playing in Summer League, and Bagley, he played in the California Classic, played a couple games there. His first game was phenomenal. There's no value or benefit to playing a kid if he's not 100%. And you've got too much invested in these young players. And you're talking about 18 and 19-year-olds, Kesty, that, let's be honest, there are your injuries right there. Playing back-to-back for these young guys in this heat, in this environment, is hard. I mean, Malik Monk goes out the first game. I mean, he absolutely lit it up. Bagley and then Trae Young. I mean, you're talking about three really good, talented young players. And then you got your man Dante.
Dante DiVincenzo missing the first 3 games of Summer League with a strained right groin. I don't want to say it's us, but all those guys got hurt in games that we broadcast, so I don't think they're going to want to see us come into the
If you look at my coaching history, you would say it probably is me because I lost a bunch of guys to injuries.
Monte Morris, who'd hit a 3 earlier, misses that one. So we said Sterling Brown's going to have the ball in his hands a little more often. Look at TJ Klein, who played his college basketball at Richmond. Of course, the son of Hall of Famer Nancy Lieberman.
Really high basketball IQ and a really good feel. Does a lot of different things.
Monte Morris penetrates and kicks.
Monte Morris got to shoot that one on that kick out.
Yeah.
He's just got to step in and knock down that three. That's a shot you've just got to go make. I know he wants to make plays for others, but he's also got to put a little pressure on the defense. You loved him in college, right?
I did. I mean, who couldn't? You see, he was 4 years at Iowa State. All 4 years led the country in assist to turnover. Really ran that team well, but the question was always the next level. And he's got a golden opportunity in Denver, and a nice play by Monte Morris right there.
And he played with a guy who could really pass the ball in George Niang.
Yeah.
I mean, that team was fun to watch. Fred Hoiberg, he would isolate Niang, and they'd almost play him like a point forward, and he would sling that thing around or score. And then Monte, you know what the good thing is? A guy that throws it to the right team, really a good thing to have.
7 for Monte Morris. Sterling Brown hits there. Think of the guys who are on that team who've found their way in, whether they're G League or NBA. Abdul Nader got some time with the Boston Celtics last year. You talked about George Niang.
That's
Tyler Lydon, there you go. He had that range at Syracuse.
You're a little bitter on that, I think.
I don't know.
You wanted to see him for one more year. I think that right now, I mean, you want to see him play well, but you kind of still said, you know, if he was around, maybe.
I might still be bitter that Kevin Herter never got the Syracuse. He's in Maryland and hit a few of those at the Carrier Dome as well. Akun-Purcell.
Now, like Tyler Lydon right now, we know he can shoot the 3-ball, all right? We know that he can move the ball on the pass. He's got to show he can defend, and he's got to rebound some.
Sterling Brown.
Big guards, big point guards. Got to like them.
We love him. 7 points for Sterling Brown. 6'6" out of SMU. We knew he had the shooting stroke, and as you pointed out, going to work on the defensive end here at Summer League. Vlatko Cancar is in the game for Denver wearing 31 in white, and he has impressed this Denver team with a nice Euro step attempt for Kenrich Williams as we have a timeout.
One thing I like big point guards, and Sterling Brown is a big physical point guard. He can rack it, and he can also knock down the three.
Welcome back to Vegas. Nikola Jokic in the house, fresh off a press conference for his 5-year, $148 million deal and part of Summer League action, which continues tonight in Las Vegas on ESPNU and the ESPN app. Coming up, we'll have Brooklyn and Minnesota right here from Cox Pavilion, 11 Eastern time. Late night basketball. We get to close up the shop tonight.
I got a question. How did he get here so quick?
He didn't fly commercial, I thought.
So he flies like you.
Yeah, he borrowed your jet apparently. Traveling violation. We'll turn it the other way.
How much was that contract for?
5 years and a maximum $148 million. Talk about a special pick at number 41 who's blossomed into a big man who could score and rebound double figures and a brilliant passer. Brilliant
Terrific
passer for his side.
I mean, he puts a lot of different pressure on him. And you know what the great thing about it is? He flew here privately, and I bet the Nuggets paid for it.
Jay Wilson elbow jumper, won't fall. Chasing it down for the offensive rebound, but had it poked away.
These young developing front court guys, their lower bodies, they just can't hold a spot the way you'd like to see them in traffic.
Cancar missing on the shot, and Emmanuel Terry trying to get that rebound. But here are the numbers on Jokic. 18.5 points per game, 10 triple-doubles, which was behind only Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, and Ben Simmons.
6 assists.
Yeah, the 6.1 assists.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
That's difficult to defend a guy like that and draw it up on a nightly basis. And part of the reason why Denver had 46 wins this year. Just missed out on the postseason.
Last day.
Yep. Lost to the Timberwolves on the last day of the regular season as Perry Ellis scores for Milwaukee, but ends up in the lottery. And not only that, Michael Porter Jr. falls to them at 14. Risk obviously involved. But if he gets healthy and plays to the abilities that we've seen, they got themselves a nice draft pick coming.
Could he be the next Ben Simmons and have a redshirt year?
Possible. Not going to play Summer League, and neither is Jared Vanderbilt from Kentucky. Three-pointer goes down to Vaughn Akun-Purcell.
Vaughn Akun-Purcell looks like an NBA small forward.
Well, he delivered the other day off the bench with 19 points, getting the start today, and he gives Denver the lead after one. Through one quarter here in Vegas, an 18-17 Denver lead. Kyle Kuzma. We're going to hear any Kuzas from the crowd. This place a lot of Laker fans, a lot of Suns fans.
He had a great summer league
game
last year.
Eric Bledsoe here as well. Marcus Smart, the restricted free agent, as Celtics played on this floor a little bit earlier.
Got to sign him.
Got it.
I mean, like, Marcus Smart is what Brad Stevens is trying to create. And that's tough, winning players.
DJ Wilson hitting the three. Kind of cool to see. I mean, here we are in day 4, and guys are just getting to Las Vegas and all the socializing going on. You got Bucks talking to Celtics, who went 7 games in the first round last year.
This
Great
is
atmosphere.
the meeting place for the NBA. Owners, coaches, players, agents, the NBA office. The NBA is a 12-month sport, and this is basically on everyone's calendar. And to me, they're just building their brand because all these veteran players now are taking ownership not only in themselves but their teams.
Peter Cornely was just into the game, one of the drafted stash Denver Nuggets. Hit a three-pointer to start. Barnett at the shot clock horn, missing. Machado scores. Scott Machado, undrafted out of Iona about 5 years ago, getting a summer league run with the Denver Nuggets. Talking about all the stuff goes, Trey Lyles. Denver Nuggets saying hi, just going courtside one after the other.
This is great. I mean, now the old grizzled veteran guys, they don't like this as much. Oh, you got a couple of coaches right here. You got to just kind of. He stepped into a pretty good situation.
Budenholzer found himself a nice spot
He's got a pretty good player.
Atlanta, landed in Milwaukee. He's got a couple good players, Giannis and Middleton, and a team that, as we said, won 44 games and a 7 seed. 4 championships as an assistant coach with the San Antonio Spurs. Coach of the year. They had that 60-win season about 3 years ago in Atlanta. It'll be interesting to see the subtle changes that he brings as Christian Wood gets fouled there.
More second-side ball screens. I mean, they're going to spread you out. Multiple ball screens for sure. And they got Thon Maker, young, talented, developing hybrid forward. They got, obviously, Giannis. Middleton is really good. Malcolm Brogdon, one of my favorite guys. As tough as any player.
A couple years ago.
In the league.
Dante DiVincenzo will be entering.
And they need shooting, right?
They do. They picked up Ilyasova, who signed on with the 76ers for the second half of last season. There's DiVincenzo, the 17th pick. In the draft, Brook Lopez signing. I think that John Henson last year played a lot of center at the end of the year, so Lopez comes in, 10-year vet, double-digit scorer, can rebound, played with the Lakers last year. Jabari Parker is a restricted free agent.
Jabari Parker, I think he's a tough decision for a nice pass right there. Because he's a good piece and he can score it, but will he embrace his role on that team? Because I think he perceives himself in one way. And is that the role that the coaching staff and the Bucks organization want him to play? I think that's a really kind of a tricky one because they're going to play through Giannis. So I think that's a tough decision to make if you're the Bucks.
It didn't feel like he was going to be coming back at the end of last year, but of course, change in head coach, new regime coming in. They got the brand new arena opening right next door in Milwaukee next year.
They say the practice facility is absolutely incredible.
There's Cornelie through contact and one. Peter Cornelie, 6'11" from France. Bucks 53rd overall pick a couple years ago.
Team's first. Cornelie to the line.
Played some pro ball in France last year. Actually knows who his teammate was on the French team. Boris Diaw,
Milwaukee,
playing on the same team. So Cornelie will shoot the free throw after the break. 7:58 left first half. Denver up 3. Back in Vegas, 25-22. Nuggets have the lead. Still haven't had a chance to see Dante DiVincenzo play yet, and right now he's standing by with Cassidy Hubbard.
Thanks, Cassidy. Dante, we know you're dealing with that right groin strain. First things first, how's it feeling, and do you have an idea of when you can be back out?
No, I felt good. I practiced a little bit today in the workout, and I felt good afterwards. It wasn't bothering me too much, so the hope is to play as soon as possible. I just want to make sure I'm 100%.
And you were able to practice with some of your new teammates, some of the veterans. What were you able to do in practice today?
I was actually able to go competitively. We were playing a couple one-on-one, 2-on-2 games, so I got to move and feel a little bit of resistance and stuff like that. So I think I'm game ready soon.
We see one of your new teammates here on the sideline, and Eric Bledsoe. What kind of advice has he or some of your other teammates given you so far?
They just told me to just come in and just be hungry. Just come in and work. That's kind of like the culture around here is just guys just want to work. And I think that fits me very well.
Well, even with you not out there, Villanova's representing hard out here in Vegas. Have you had a chance to hang out or talk with some of your former teammates?
I've actually seen them almost every night we've been here. We have a group chat. We stay in touch. So we're here watching each other's games here and there.
And that's going to be exciting. Are you still kind of high from the national championship at all, or are you just on to being a pro?
I'm kind of on to being a pro, but it's also cool just to be able to share that experience with those guys. So that's something I'll keep with me.
Oh, it was a really exciting night on draft night for you. And you actually mentioned that you wanted to have Giannis try your mom's pasta, homemade pasta, as part of his American food tour. Have you made that happen yet?
I have not made that happen. That was the first thing that popped in my head just because of the nickname they gave me. So I don't know. We'll try to make that happen.
I mean, could you just describe? I mean, it is dinner time here in Vegas. Can you describe what that pasta is?
It's just homemade. There's nothing better than homemade food.
for just good homemade soul cooking. I love it. Well, good luck. I hope to see you out there and enjoy the rest of the time in Vegas.
Thank you very much.
Back to you, Kesty.
All right, thanks a lot, Dante DiVincenzo. What a rise he had at Villanova, 6-man onto that championship. And Jeff Van Gundy, we don't let him have any off time here. Of course, you know him from ABC and ESPN telecast, the head coach of the qualifying team for FIBA. You had that in Cuba and Mexico, and now here you are in Vegas, and we pull you onto the broadcast. So thanks for coming out for a few minutes.
No, it's good. I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad I'm leaving tomorrow. So it's perfect.
Glad we got you there.
Yeah.
What is
Really happy that you're excited to be with us.
No, I'm glad to be here.
I mean, you've seen the summer leagues, where they come from when you were first going to them to where they are now, so you can kind of tell us night and day.
Listen, the Lakers Summer League team outdraws some NBA teams. It's unbelievable here in Vegas. I mean, I never would have expected it. They've hit a home run here in Vegas. The attendance is great. The enthusiasm is even better. And it's affordable. And so many people who can't afford to see a live NBA game can do it here, and it's great.
Now you're scouting a little bit right now. You're trying to put your team together. What are you looking for right now?
Well, the FIBA game, as you guys know, is different. It's more physical. The lane is more congested. You can't have a lot of soft guys. You got to have great competitors. And so you're trying to find guys who skill-wise can hold up, but also toughness-wise, and who can learn, because you're only together for a short period of time. So I like Sterling Brown. I don't know, obviously, if he would be available to us, but he's a good player. You're watching. You have enough good players. You just got to convince the agents and the teams that it's worthwhile for them to participate. Putting
on your analyst hat, when you look at Sterling Brown, you look at the Milwaukee Bucks, we know about Giannis, we know about Middleton. What's that next step for them coming up this season?
I like the signing of Brook Lopez to give him a front court player that can spread the floor around Giannis. I think Bledsoe is a key. What type of energy and he can bring to on an every night basis. Malcolm Brogdon sitting next to him is a really good third guard type. So Mike Budenholzer is as good a coach as you're going to find in the NBA. So they're well positioned, and it starts with obviously Giannis being a dominant player and a dominant worker. It's hard to find the right best player. Milwaukee has the right best player.
Hubie Brown used to always say your best player has to be your hardest worker, because it basically sets the tone. Changing of coaches, how much will the Bucks look different, you think, in terms of their playing style?
Well, if you take a look at how Bud played in Atlanta, they're going to be very pass-oriented on offense. Defensively, I think Milwaukee's been very, very aggressive. I thought Jason Kidd did a very good job. I think they tone their pressure down. They trapped a lot. I think today in the NBA, every time you put two on the ball, you're opening up that three-point line. But I thought Kidd did a tremendous job in establishing a hard-playing, hard-working team. And I think Bud and his staff are going to just build upon what Jason Kidd started there.
You look at LeBron James exiting the Eastern Conference. What does that do to the conference as we look heading into the playoffs next year, and then we'll swing it to the West after?
Well, I think the Eastern Conference out here in Vegas threw a party. They literally, all the teams got together and were excited that someone else is going to win it. So Boston and Philly, to me, and Toronto are the three favorites, and I think each of them feel a sense of you've got that guy out of your way now. There's a clearer path to the finals, and I just think they're all excited about that possibility.
Feels like it's open. And then on the Western side, you look at a team like Denver, just missed last year with 46 wins. Minnesota just creeps in. And the Lakers, we'll see what the final roster looks like when it's done, but you think maybe with LeBron there, that puts them in that part. It just becomes that much tougher in the West.
Well, the West is brutal. And an injury at any time in the season to a key integral part of your team could take you from being in to out. Minnesota last year, I think, was third when Jimmy Butler went down.
That's right.
And then they had to win on the last night against Denver. I think Denver's outstanding. I'm not convinced the Lakers are going to make the playoffs. Everybody just assumes because James has been great for so long that it's an automatic, but the Western Conference is a challenge, and that team is going to have to guard. They're going to have to come together and fit together, and they're going to have to bypass some very good teams to make the playoffs.
How about the dynamic of, we probably haven't had a rookie combination of father-son like we've had with the Bulls. I mean, the dynamic of LeBron coming in as the face of the organization, dealing with that static.
Well, it quieted down a little bit as the year went on, and again, I feel for Lonzo Ball in that he wasn't allowed just to grow as a rookie. He was thrust into this spotlight, and I think some of it was unfairly, the burden was unfair to him, but he's going to have to play better. Like, it starts with playing well, and they've made the decision, I guess, not to alter his shooting mechanics, which is fine, but he's going to have to shoot the ball better.
Shots.
That's right, and it'll be interesting to see. You're going to want the ball in James's hands to be a decision maker a lot, and how does that fit with Ball having the ball outside of his hands, and Rondo as well. Like, I'm interested to see what Luke Walton comes up with. I know this. I think they're going to win a lot more, so game nights, Luke Walton is going to be happier. I think the rest of the year, he's not going to be nearly as happy as he has been. I think there's going to be a lot of noise. That's just not a lot of fun.
Can you be a great player in this league and not be able to make shots? Like today, in the way the game's played now.
I'm not sure you ever could, but certainly not now. Plus, the defenses are so smart. If you can't shoot, it's hard to help off anybody. Now, when you can't shoot, at least you have somebody you can be slow to rotate to, slow to close to. So, yeah, I think you have to put out 5 scores. And you don't have to be necessarily, a 40% three-point shooter, but you've got to be willing to take, and you've got to be able to make enough.
Most important, we've talked a lot of basketball here. I just want to know, in your off-season contract, do you not have to talk to Mike Breen or Mark Jackson at all? Does that just go away for 4 months?
Well, first of all, the cheering you hear in the background is Mark Jackson celebrating that LeBron James signed in L.A. He will never leave his hometown city now because he'll do all 50 games that he has to do in L.A. It's a joke how they coddle and pamper him at ESPN. And then Mike Breen, he's out in the Hamptons doing whatever the rich and famous do. So
wait a second. What about you? You're getting ready to go watch your favorite football team, and you travel all over America doing all these exotic things. I mean, come on.
Mark, I don't know if you realize this, but your partner here tonight is like a shill for the place called the Greenbrier in West Virginia.
I think I've heard of it a few times the last few days.
Right.
I'm just jealous because I wasn't there.
But my Texans are having training camp there. I can't wait to get to see Bill O'Brien's team.
Stay with us. We're going to keep you for the final 2:25 of the first half. Timeout here in Las Vegas.
Hey, we got him.
Cox Pavilion with us. 2:25 to go first half. His Denver Nuggets, the Summer League version, a 2-point lead over Milwaukee. Jeff Van Gundy joining us here courtside. Speaking of Jamal Murray, I think the open spot is the backup to him in Denver, and Monte Morris has a great opportunity to win that.
Monte Morris, I saw play in college. I like his decision-making.
Unbelievable.
He makes simple, sound plays. He's been more active defensively than I remember from Iowa State. Maybe I'm misremembering. Terrible defense there by him. Terrible decision to double as I say that. But I really like him as he can play in the NBA.
Contract, you know that.
No, he cost himself. So I didn't double team recklessly, but he can play in the NBA as a backup. I don't think there's any question about that.
He can get you an offense. He's going to make the right pass. Can he make enough shots at that position?
You tell me.
I think he can. I absolutely loved him in college. Now, they had a great passing team because they had George Niang up front. When Fred coached them that year, and also when Coach Prohm, they really played with great spacing and extremely unselfish.
Yeah, that's another guy. Niang, to me, he's been on that 2-way contract. He's an NBA roster player. finding guys who can shoot, pass, and make the right decisions, that intelligence offsets whatever lack of athleticism he may have. I think he's an NBA player.
Let me ask you about one. Golden State, DeMarcus Cousins. When you heard it, what was the first thing that went through your mind?
Well, when he's on the floor, to me, it's going to be harder for teams as stealing a dunk. It's going to be harder for teams to switch every screen like Houston did. It's going to be hard to put Chris Paul on DeMarcus Cousins.
Just going to bury him.
Right, and then it's also going to be harder for Golden State, who switches a lot, to switch with him on the floor. I'm interested. I think switching has obviously had a huge impact on the game, and I think in some ways a negative impact. I think it's become more isolation-oriented. I think the NBA officials have to call the fouls on the roll. Too much contact being allowed, which makes the switching more effective. But I'm interested to see with a year now, a summer, what changes NBA coaches have made in how they're going to attack switching.
Jeff, interested on the moves for Houston. Obviously, Trevor Ariza decided to go to Phoenix, and then Luc Mbah a Moute has signed on with the Clippers. That's two big losses, especially the defense those guys brought.
There's no question. I think I'm interested to see how they manipulate their roster from here, because Mbah a Moute, as you mentioned, smart, really good defender, capable shooter, excellent cutter. And then Ariza, I thought, gave them the ability to downsize at the 4, perimeter defender, and then a spot shooter. So I'm interested in what they do from here. Everybody's talking Carmelo Anthony. If that buyout actually does happen, I don't see that as a fit when you're having to play the Warriors and then switch a lot, and now he's going to guard as he's gotten older. I don't think you can expect him to guard Kevin Durant in space and Steph Curry. So I'm interested to see.
Stand in the corner and wait for a pass.
No, he can score. He can still score. Like, there's no question.
You're thinking on the other end.
The other end.
Yeah. Where they frustrated the Warriors throughout that Western Conference Finals. Took them completely out of their game.
Think about it. They were up at halftime in both games 6 and 7. Significant
double digits.
leads. Yes. And whether you give credit to Golden State, they did a great job, particularly on the road in a Game 7, to come back. But also, like, Chris Paul's injury was huge. So I'm interested to see how the Rockets fill out their roster.
Don't you think every team needs an Andre Iguodala, Trevor Ariza, a guy like that just kind of is a low-maintenance connector?
Oh, absolutely. And they're not as easy to find as most people would think.
How about DJ Wilson right there? 0.9 to go on the follow slam. Does this count as a credit? Is this a hit?
Hey, Mark Gross, I'm billing you tonight. Come on now.
At the worst, you get the nice per diem that we get per day.
Oh, yeah. All $12.
Thanks for coming over. Jeff Van Gundy joining us here for the bulk of the second half. Hey, we got a 1-point game at half. 45-44, 10 lead changes. Stay with us, coming back to Vegas.
Coverage of MGM Resorts NBA Summer League 2018 is brought to you by the DQ Summer Blizzard Menu for a limited time at participating locations.
Underway. We have a special guest joining us. In fact, he's had a busy day today. Tim Connolly, the president of basketball operations of the Denver Nuggets. So did you start the day in Las Vegas, go to Denver and come back, or how'd this all work out?
We flew back last evening, and then we flew back all together after the press conference.
Nikola Jokic and Will Barton had their press conferences today in Denver. So let's start with Jokic. Obviously, that was the most important part of the offseason, was to get him for the next 5 years.
Sure. He's been such a unique story. Kind of came out of nowhere. And as the last season progressed, I thought he turned into a real go-to guy. So we really wanted to ensure he was going to be in a jersey as long as possible.
When you saw him for the first time, who did you think he was, and what did you think he brought to your organization? 41, right?
Yep.
I mean, you talk about evaluating up. Did you see something in him that you said, this guy's got a chance? Or did you say, look, he's big, he can pass it?
You know what? It helped us his passing skills certainly jumped out. He's from a basketball family. His brother played Division I, then eventually played Division II. So sometimes the challenge is you want to make sure the guys want to be on this side of the Atlantic. And we also watched a lot of tape of young Marcus Sol, a guy that was drafted in the second round. His body changed. He was playing in Girona in Spain. He's an easy guy to look past Nicola. He doesn't have the sexiest body. He and I share the same vertical. But to say we had any clue that he was going to advance to this level would be disingenuous.
How disappointing was it last day of the regular season against Minnesota to lose that game and not get into the playoffs, but yet still in the lottery? Where do we balance those two things?
It was a heartbreaking evening. I thought our guys really competed. I thought our coaching staff did a great job down the stretch with a brutal schedule. But we're still on the outside looking in. It's not where we need to be. It's not good enough. When the season started, if you told us we were going to win 46, I would have felt pretty good about our chances. But again, we got to keep improving. The West hasn't gotten any worse. But it was a really good year. Retrospectively, when the emotions subside, I was proud of our team and our coaching staff.
I look at your Summer League roster. You've got two guys that are kind of interesting to me. Monte Morris, who looks like he's taken another step. I always liked his game. And then this kid, Kuhn Purcell. He's got a little electricity to his game.
He's a live wire. Hard-playing kid. Our scouts do a great job of finding guys all over the world. It's really neat to see a guy like Kuhn Purcell be given an opportunity on this stage. A junior college kid in Illinois State, played at a fairly low level in Europe, and he's making the most opportunity. And I think Monte's the last, one of the few guys, of a dying breed, a pure point guard. Doesn't turn the ball over, has great discipline, gets the ball to guys at the right spots, doesn't overhandle. So we couldn't be more happy with his development thus far.
Tim, take us. Sorry, Seth.
Okay.
Take us through draft night. We were there, and Michael Porter Jr. is kind of sliding through the draft, and right before you get to pick at number 13, he doesn't get selected. So kind of pick it up from there and walk us through it.
You go through all these different variations leading up to the draft, and it's all just guesses, informed guesses. You talk to as many people as you can. We thought when the draft week started, there was a small chance he might be there, and then we were pretty certain he was not going to be there. We knew there was a couple of trigger picks. If he didn't go in these slots, he very well could slide. I think we had a pretty good sense of the picks right in front of ours. And we collectively sat down with ownership, sat down with the medical people and said it's a risk well worth taking. We're not going to find a guy this talented ever again in that slot. We're comfortable with where he is. Medically, we're going to be extremely patient trying to get him back. We're lucky, I think, because we have a roster full of depth and guys that are able to play. So we don't need an instant impact guy. But we were surprised and, quite frankly, elated that a guy like that we could add to the program.
Could he be one of those redshirt rookies potentially? Because obviously you wouldn't want to risk his potential.
Absolutely. The only thing that we're certain on at this point is we are not going to get him out there until he's 100%. However we get him there, whether it's a week, whether it's a month, whether it's 6 months, I think we have the benefit of a pretty deep roster, a bunch of guys that are able to step into roles. And we don't think there's any basketball risk there. In terms of a basketball player, there's often health risk, but people don't allude to there's a basketball risk as well as a guy not good enough to be a rotation guy. And I think when you watch Michael, his skill level jumps off the court.
And you got another guy in Vanderbilt who played basically half of the season, explosive, electric, can really pass it. How do you evaluate a guy like that?
Well, it's funny. There's only a couple guys in the second round that we had targeted, and we didn't think either would be there. And when Jarrett started falling, we actually moved up a couple slots to ensure we didn't just miss out on him. Watched a ton of his high school stuff, summer camps, have a pretty good feel for Houston area basketball. Handler, 3-4 position defender, and then his rebounding at Kentucky. I know it was a brief stint, but his rebounding was off the charts, and he's different than what we have. He's kind of a muck-it-up guy, a guy whose motor runs high. When you put him around skill especially, I think he really stands out.
It was the first time in a while you didn't take an international guy. I don't think the international crop was a little lower than it had been previous, but Vlatko Cancar was playing here tonight. Peter Corneli, who hit a three just off the bench. Are these two guys that have a real chance to make the team this year?
When we approach the second round, there's so many good players in the world. I think oftentimes, we don't have a G League team either, so it's a bit more challenging at times. So how do you maximize your picks? And we've had a lot of luck in the second round. Even domestic guys. We drafted Eric Green, he went overseas, came back. Joffrey Laverne, certainly Nikola Jokic. And most recently, Peter and Vlatko. Vlatko's had a really nice run in the last year playing with the Slovenian national team. They won it all with Doncic and Goran Dragic and under Igor's tutelage. Then he goes back and he had these national team games where his role gets bigger and bigger. And this is the first time in the States for him. So I think he's come over here and quickly adapted this style of play. And I think it's really good to have guys all over the world matriculating and getting better.
Tim Connolly joining us here courtside watching his Summer League Denver Nuggets. And Kenrich is an interesting prospect as well. We see him defending.
He's a really smart player. 3 seconds.
And Tyler Lydon, who's down there as well. I think I'm going to catch you here at the under 7-minute
He's got to get his Syracuse intel. This is kind of a selfish question right here.
Oh, we got time. We can
hey, there's a player out here from Catholic. I'll be doing the same. Won't be holding my breath, but
big summer league for Tyler. Fully recovered from the knee.
Just recently cleared for 5-on-5. Worked his tail off. High IQ shot maker. I think he's an underrated defender. We get on him to shoot more and more because he's such a good shooter. But he's done a great job coming back from injury. And as you guys know, the first time you're injured, it's not just a physical, it's a mental, getting used to things. So it's good to see him back out there.
And is it tough with the way your roster is stacked as far as power forwards, fours, and whatnot to try to break through?
Well, I think Tyler can play 2 or maybe even 3 positions versus backups. He's an underrated rebounder. He's a good shot blocker at the collegiate level, and he's a really smart position defender. So I've been wrong every year about who will play and won't play. We had a guy in Summer League.
Michael out.
Exactly. Last year we had a guy in Summer League, Torrey Craig, who was a 27-year-old rookie from Australia on a 2-way contract. We're lucky enough to bring him back in the fold as well. The job's hard enough without someone as dumb as me trying to influence who plays and when. But I think what's neat about our roster is 1 through 16, 17, I think all the guys are capable of playing, and you're not holding your breath when you throw them out there.
Do you like the 2-way they came in last year, just the ability to have those 2 extra guys?
Yeah, it was neat. It was challenging initially trying to figure out the rules and how to best maximize those days. But I thought Torrey Craig was fantastic. Monte got in a couple games, was impactful, and I think as you get more and more comfortable, we'll do a better job utilizing it.
Thanks, Tim, for coming over.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate
it. Long day for you from Denver to Las Vegas. Tim Connolly, Denver Nuggets President of Basketball Operations. More from Las Vegas coming up in just a moment.
Coverage of MGM Resorts NBA Summer League 2018 is brought to you by One A Day with Nature's Medley.
This WNBA season, your ticket supports organizations that are changing the game for women and girls. Go to WNBA.com/take-a-stand to purchase a ticket today. Just that Las Vegas Aces jersey over at New York.
How did they get that jersey all the way to New York about?
Well, I thought your question would be, how did they get it?
It's the other New York.
Other one, yes.
Oh, you mean the one down the strip?
Yep, that's there you go. The roller coaster behind it in New York, New York.
Yeah, I was paying attention.
Well, I figured during that 7-mile walk you got at 5 in the morning.
I've gone exactly.
Must have gone by it a few times.
It's pretty good today, I can tell you that much.
Then we got all the ladies in the house, Warriors uniforms. Jordan Bell did not lace it up today after playing last night for Golden State.
Think he shuts it down the rest of those second-year guys eventually are going to shut it down.
Yeah, doesn't have anything to prove, right? I mean, he's working on
other guys opportunities.
Yep, they can work in practice. Denver, by the way, in the midst of a 10-2 run, Devon Akun-Purcell, 6 of his 17 points have come in the third quarter. And a nice block by Kennedy Meeks. Monte Morris in double figures.
Monte Morris is never rushed. The game he sees the game at his own pace as he turns it over. Thank you very much.
Quarterman got a hand on that one from Milwaukee. Sterling
Why does
Brown.
that happen?
The announcer jinx. And a push foul as Quarterman will be helped up.
That would be like a season worth of turnovers for Monte Morris in college.
You got that right. Remarkable, led the NCAA every year in assist to turnovers. Sometimes it was close to 6, right? It was mostly about 4, 4.5.
Yeah,
uncanny.
4.7, I think, for his career.
Yeah. Played all 4 years at Iowa State in Ames. Traveling violation. We'll turn it back over to Denver, which has won both of its games. They defeated Minnesota on Friday. Morris had 15 in that game. That was a game they had a 21-point lead, won by 1.
I like their roster. I might be picking them to win the whole thing.
I was going to say, the Summer League run.
Summer.
We'll just want to make that distinction for you.
You're right.
We don't come back to June and say, where were the Nuggets?
Don't worry, Twitter will handle that.
They probably already are. Meeks with the step back. Oh, Kendrick Williams trying to finish it. So we're going to get our Summer League bracket pool together. Should that be before when we seed teams, or you want to wait till they seed teams before we get our bracket pool going? We'll get Van Gundy involved.
We need Van Gundy involved. After seeding.
I want the prescient Seth Greenberg.
What are you, Kreskin?
Tyler Lydon deep. 24th pick, 2017. He said he's got something to prove. He even said it himself. He knows coming off the injury.
If he continues to rebound and defend, you know he can do that. He's got to show some versatility on the defensive end.
Disappointed in his Summer League numbers last year and had the season-ending knee surgery, which stunted his growth. Oh, brilliant basket. Monte Morris going to the line, a chance at a three-point play.
Monte Morris keeping his dribble alive. Gets space. So watch him use the rim right there to protect. And the finish, crafty, the ability to change direction and keep it alive. Monte Morris making a real positive impression.
Morris, who had 15 on Friday, 14 on Saturday, heads it to 15 points right now. Got 6 assists as well and 6 rebounds. Big evening for Monte Morris. Three-point play, good. Nuggets with a 10-point lead here.
Think they're going to feel the pressure if I pick them?
I think they will. The Seth Greenberg jinx, is that something in Summer League? Sterling Brown on the other end having himself a good game.
They've got a good mix of veterans and young players, and they've got good depth on this team.
And I think you're right. When you have so many young point guards who are just playing their first games, Monte Morris just looks a little bit different than the rest of them out here leading this group.
The game's at a different speed to him. I think those young point guards are almost like wind-up toys. They play at one speed where, you know, a guy like Morris can change speeds. He can back it out, advantage, disadvantage. He makes good decisions. He's a low turnover guy, and he's crafty with the ball.
He's got himself into the lane and got a foul against Milwaukee. Will bring us to a timeout. 2:57 left in the third quarter. Denver up in front. MGM Resorts NBA Summer League continues from Vegas tomorrow on ESPNU and ESPN2 starting at 4:30 Eastern. On the U with the Jazz and the Heat, then off to ESPN2, Kings and Grizzlies, Lakers and Knicks at 8:30 Eastern, and all the games streaming live on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere.
You won't be.
I get a rare day off in Las Vegas, so I will have my phone and I will have it locked in on my ESPN app.
You will.
Yes.
At the pool or at the table? Can't do it at the table.
I don't think you're allowed to at the table. What table are you referring to? My wife might be watching. Dining table, that's it. I'll be taking out the garbage.
I figure you do a couple of shows. I mean, you're kind of a cultural guy.
Well, that's debatable.
Who are you going to go see?
If we're comparing me to you,
see
yes,
one
I've got
show
some.
on the strip, what would you go see?
Oh, I would see Beatles Love. That's an easy one for me.
Really?
Yes. My wife told me great things about that one. Now, again, cultural and myself don't go hand in hand, but you can't go wrong with Beatles Love.
Do you have a Netflix account?
I do. Well, my daughter does. I just pay for it.
I mean, that's impressive. This game is going to go down to the wire right here, if you were just wondering.
We've had good games, you and I.
Yes.
Here on day 4.
DJ Wilson kind of been quiet in the second half. I like Kendrick Williams. Kendrick Williams at TCU. He rebounds. He can score around the basket. He can shoot the ball to the three-point line. He's got a big physical body. I mean, he could be a two-way guy with his size and his strength.
He's been quite a story, too, right? Was under-recruited out of Waco, Texas. Started at junior college and turned out to be probably the best all-around player at TCU.
Jamie Dixon is an incredible evaluator of talent. And does an excellent job developing players.
And if you're looking for a guy who can defend, rebound, do the little things as a young player, Williams could be that guy. Young prospect.
He's got to put the ball on the floor a little bit better so he can play off the bounce and he can space a little bit better.
Kenrich Williams, undrafted out of TCU.
Machado, he's going to play in the TBT.
Is he?
$2 million, winner takes all. Iona's team is an underdog team. They're a little bit of a sleeper. People say, like, Boeheim's Army, overseas elite. They've won it, I think, 3 times in a row now.
I try to pride myself on knowing a little bit about anything you may ask. I got nothing.
You got to follow the TBT. TBT is great, I'm telling you.
I like to watch. I just don't have enough depth on it.
Oh, good teams.
But if it's Boeheim's Army in the championship game, I'm there.
Sean Marshall, former BC player, played for my brother over in Israel, challenged ALS in honor of Pete Freitas, who is battling that dreaded disease. They play in his honor. I mean, how hard those guys play in that thing is unbelievable.
And the final's going to be in Baltimore?
Are they back? They might be back in Baltimore. $2 million.
I thought you were going to ask me how I knew that. How did I know that?
How did you know that?
Dave Freed, my statistician.
Well, after Van Gundy trashed him, I mean, I think the guy's unbelievable. I feel bad.
It's like driving a Ferrari, the 12 days that we're spending here in Vegas between Dave Freed and Steve LeBeau, 2 of our top stat guys. How do you rank them, Seth?
I think they're both great.
Final 30 seconds of this third quarter.
Jordan Barnett has got to make that shot. Machado, really a good decision maker.
Oh, beautiful pass. Tip wouldn't go. I was hoping Emmanuel Terry was going to grab that and flush it home. Terry, out of Lincoln Memorial University, Division II. He had a dunk last year in college.
You love that dunk. You were trying to find that dunk.
I was trying to. You just have to get the phone. If I knew how to Google it, I would be able to get that done. There was an inbounds play. Had a defender in front of him, alley-ooped over him. That made the top play of the day. ESPN SportsCenter's top plays.
Unfortunately, I had teams that had happened to me too many times.
Well, last year we heard Tim Connolly tell us about Torrey Craig, who was 27 years of age, came here to Summer League, had a breakout Summer League, incredibly athletic guy, 2-way contract, just signed for 2 years, $4 million. And a lot of the Nuggets fans that I've been, reading about in the Denver newspapers and on their blogs, Emmanuel Terry kind of reminds them of a guy who maybe can show them a little spark here in Summer League. Under the guise of, could he be the next Torrey Craig?
Well, everyone's looking for the next Draymond Green.
They might be looking for a while.
That's a big thing in the NBA right now.
Final 5 seconds. Quarterman missing for 3. Out of bounds, and with 2.2, Bucks will get to inbound.
So many of these guys on the floor right now are looking to either get a 2-way contract, a G League contract, or an opportunity overseas.
Brown picks it up, got it off just before the horn, but the Denver Nuggets had their biggest lead at 10. They'll take a 9-point advantage to the fourth quarter. Welcome back to the MGM Resorts NBA Summer League 2018. We are at Cox Pavilion on your left and on your right across the way. Thomas and Mack Center, couple of unbeatens going at it. The Orlando Magic and the Phoenix Suns, Seth.
Yeah, Orlando Magic and Mo Bamba and Jonathan Isaac, and obviously the Phoenix Suns and DeAndre Ayton. And Ayton has done a nice job coming into Summer League. I still think he's got to play a little bit lower, but he's so athletic and so explosive. That looks like Mo Bamba on the putback.
It was.
I'm a big Mo Bamba fan. I think maybe not right in this moment in time. His ability to run, he's already got 2 block shots today. Obviously, it's the second basket, playing off of penetration. Extremely skilled, very bright. And when his lower body strength matches his footwork and his athleticism, they're going to have a very special player.
How do you weigh in the Summer League all the games that they're playing? Now, this is the 3rd game that he's playing as Chanchar knocks out the 3. For Mo Bamba, we've already seen Marvin Bagley going to shut it down. DeAndre Ayton as well.
Back-to-back's really hard for these first-year players. These guys coming out of school. They're getting so much thrown at them. They're doing walkthroughs early in the morning. I saw Minnesota today, 8 o'clock in the morning. They were going to a walkthrough. So you get these 18-year-old guys. They're playing minutes. They're practicing in a different way. They might be practicing against some of the veterans. It's extremely hot outside. Who knows what they're doing late at night because they don't yet understand how to take care of their bodies. So, I mean, the back-to-backs, you see the second night on the back-to-backs, the numbers drop significantly. So Wendell Carter's numbers drop, not as significantly, blocked shots, but you saw Marvin Bagley was unbelievable in that California Classic. His kind of
guys have played more teams than just the Las Vegas Summer League is a good point. I just want to clarify my question. DeAndre Ayton's not been shut down, just the way I had prefaced the question. You understood it, but Ayton is playing right now. But if you're...
you just didn't want to get killed.
That was just a very poorly constructed question for you. Marvin Bagley.
Good job.
Here in the Summer League, pelvic bone bruise, resting for the next week to 2 weeks. The
Context.
That's right, exactly. The king of the run-on sentence. I could do a paragraph.
Oh.
Out of order. 9 minutes left here in this ball game, and coming up next, we're going to have the Brooklyn Nets and the Minnesota Timberwolves to wrap up today's play. All the games streaming live on the ESPN app, so you can watch it anywhere, and looking forward to that one as well. Emile Jefferson has had a fantastic Timberwolves Summer League. Josh Okogie, their number 20 pick, and Keita Bates-Diop, who fell deep into the second round for Minnesota.
And that guy gets buckets. I mean, you're talking about a guy that can score a lot of different ways, shoot the three, mid-post, inside the whip.
And what we see
looks to me like Marcus Smart,
who we saw earlier today. Okogie's a heck of a defender. He has shown it here in Summer League through the first 3 days. As Christian Wood scores from Milwaukee, will we see Jared Allen for Brooklyn?
I think we're going to see Jared Allen, and Jared Allen had a pretty good rookie year. He's a guy that it seems like he's growing into his body in terms of learning how to play harder, longer periods of time. 7'5" wingspan, protects the rim, can really pass it. He has a chance to be a very good player. He's got to get lost in the game some. He's got to really embrace his potential.
Well, we'll have Brooklyn and Minnesota coming up for you next here at Cox Pavilion and on ESPNU. Peter Corneli missing from the wing. Travis Trice leading things. DJ Wilson has had a good game with 16 points.
Wilson can shoot the ball. I'd like to see him be more engaged around the basket, whether it's getting to the offensive glass, running the court, beating people down, his ability to run. He seems like he's always settling into that trail spot, which is good. But you would want to see him do just a little bit more, not just settle into being basically a pick and pop or a trail three-point jump shooter.
Wilson was looking up court on that pass and got picked off from behind. Stan Okoye.
BMI's finest.
Put up some good numbers there. Oh, look at that beautiful pass to Corneli from Victor Sanders. Sanders out of Idaho. Christian Wood just moving Corneli out of the way that time. 16 points.
I'm really impressed with
Wood.
I mean, you talk about playing with a good base, thin body, but plays with greater strength maybe than some of the other guys in a similar body type. Really good weak side defense right there by Barnett.
Extra pass to Barnett. He buries the triple. Milwaukee on the comeback trail with 7 minutes to go in the ball game. Barnett spent his first 2 years in Texas, last 2 with the Missouri Tigers. Cancar from Slovenia. He's got 13 points for Vlatko Cancar. I think Tim Connolly was rattling off. You think of that Slovenian team with Luka Doncic, who now comes over, hasn't played a Summer League game yet with Dallas, but has been fantastic in the Euro League and in the ACB. And Igor Kokoshkov, who was the head coach of the Slovenian team, now the head coach of the Phoenix Suns. Goran Dragic from the Miami Heat as well.
Yeah, it's
heck of a basketball-loving nation.
They do love their basketball. Right? Watching Sanders here right now, I mean, this is really good awareness. Staying low, head up, no look, boom, dropping the dime, and then Cancar being in that swing spot, stepping in on penetration. Machado, terrific passer. Cancar knocks down that three, and he's a little fired up about that. I think A.J. Wilson was listening because the play before, he short rolled on that ball screen and collected himself and got something around the basket. Very coachable.
Bucks are down 7, and here they come. Well, if you say it loud enough.
I think Rod Thorne right there who's with the Bucks. I think he's saying a couple things loud enough.
Also Denver's number 31.
Manuel Terry will be checking in as Peter Corneli heads out of the lineup. There's a look at Terry. And Corneli headed to the bench. Sterling Brown on the floor for Milwaukee, 20 points, the high scorer.
Sterling Brown, he has a little Malcolm Brogdon in him.
In what way?
Big body, physical.
Toughness.
Sterling Brown.
Intangibles. Like his DNA is of a winning player.
Well, the Bucks wanted to see more offense from him in the summer league. He's delivering here tonight with 22. Bucks are within 5.
Good extra pass right there.
Chanchar to Okoye missing. Klein will chase it down for Milwaukee. Got a whistle down floor on Okoye off the ball.
Sterling Brown has been absolutely terrific, knocking down jumpers, using that big physical body to finish around the rim. One thing I like about him, I like big guards.
Bucks are on the comeback trail. A couple of Bucks, many Bucks in the crowd. Eric Bledsoe, Malcolm Brogdon right now with our Cassidy Hubbard.
Thanks, Cassidy. Eric, you joined the Bucks early in the season last year, and then you guys took the Celtics 7 games in the postseason. How would you sum up what last year was like for you?
It was pretty good. You know, my first time being in the playoffs in a while, so to go to war with these guys was fun.
Malcolm, you were back here in 2016 when you made your summer league debut. How would you describe what that experience was like for you?
It was fun. It was exciting. A lot of nerves. So I know when you see a lot of guys come out here and they're not playing well, they get off to a cold start. People are just nervous. You got to give them time.
Hey, Eric, you made the switch from the West to the East last year. LeBron James making the move from the East to the West for the first time in his career. What was your reaction when you heard that news?
I was shocked. I didn't expect it, but it's easy for us now.
I mean, that's what I got to ask. So, as they say, the East is wide open. Why should the Bucks be seen as the front runners?
We got Giannis. We got a great young core. We got a new coaching staff. I think we got the pieces to do something special.
Yeah, new head coach in Mike Budenholzer. I know it's brand new for you guys, but how would you describe how he's going to change this team and with the leadership he has?
Just taking a look at summer league, watching how the guys play. There's a lot of spacing out there. Everybody can handle the ball, so we'll see. Training camp.
All right, well, like you said, going to be quote unquote easy for you guys, but it's wide open in the East. Good luck this season. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Back to you, Cassie.
All right, Cass, thanks a lot. Eric Bledsoe, Malcolm Brogdon, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I love Brogdon's
Middleton.
answer.
Yeah.
We have Giannis, you don't.
That's right. 4th in the league in scoring last year, almost 27 points per game. Tyler Lydon hitting a big 3 for the Nuggets there. He's got 9 points, 10 rebounds, almost 5 assists per game. We keep talking about what the limit is for Giannis. You get a chance, you're doing a lot of college basketball, but I know you're peaking at the NBA as well, Seth. When you see Giannis, is it limitless almost?
It's amazing.
For such a guy who's so young?
We don't have a ton of time to watch the NBA, but when he's on, I watch. Because I want to see what he's going to do next. And he never disappoints. I mean, he makes plays that not even LeBron can make.
That's saying a lot.
This is just a really nice use of the ball screen right there. Monte Morris watched a quick throwback and a little flare right there. Ball screen, flare screen. Really well executed play. And Tyler Lydon doing what he does best, and that is stepping into open threes at the swing spot.
82-75. Denver leading, coming up on 4 minutes to go here. And Akun Purcell trying to get the steal off the inbound.
It's so hard. You look at a guy like Lydon, and still young, still developing, just played through an injury, playing back from an injury. It's hard to come to an evaluation on it because that injury set him so far back that he's a rookie again.
I was going to say he's a square one, essentially. As TJ Klein hits the three-pointer for Milwaukee. They're within 4. They hadn't led since the early minutes of the second half. 3:30 to go.
Great
Pick and roll.
pass.
Oh, beautiful bounce pass to Emmanuel Terry.
Akun Purcell, think about what he's done today. Knock down threes, attack people off the bounce, relentless defensively. That was an absolute terrific pocket pass right there.
On the bounce and delivered right where it needed to be.
I mean, you talk about on time, on target. Sees the defender step up, steps out to create an angle. That's late weak side help by Trice, but watch that right there. Terrific job, a little English on that pass, easier to catch. And he's shown the ability to, in my opinion, be a guy that can play in this league.
Tyler Lydon off the catch, missing the 3.
You can't put him in a small box. He does a lot of different things.
Denver has 22 assists here tonight. Big number in Summer League standards as Klein scores on the lane.
Terrific pass right there by Sterling Brown, reading the defender's third head.
Summer League record, by the way, Seth, 27 assists in a Summer League game. The Blazers, way back in 2006 against the Golden State Warriors.
Not everyone would pull that nugget, I can just tell you that much.
You know I didn't get that note, right? That's a Dave Freed special. Foul with 2:23 to go. We got a 4-point game coming down to the final 2:23.
Sterling Brown's done a little bit of everything. He's knocked down jumpers, taking people to the rack, and honestly, I like big guards who can pass.
Coverage of MGM Resorts NBA Summer League 2018 is brought to you by Carmel M&M's. We're making Carmel fun. And State Farm, here to help life go right.
Back in Vegas, Milwaukee Bucks down 4 points, and here they come with 2:15 to go. Sterling Brown with 25 points, ball in his hands. Need to shoot for Brown. Working against Chanchar and buries another one. 27 for Sterling Brown.
Sterling Brown looks like a winning player on a good NBA team. I know this is Summer League, and I know he's not playing against guys as a whole that he's going to play against during the season. But passing, defense, intangibles, made open shots.
Oh, late in the shot clock, Monte Morris was just looking to get off a shot and got bailed out there. He'll get to the line. There was 1/10 of a second left on the shot clock.
So you say that's a bad foul?
TJ Klein.
Yeah, we'll let that one hang.
Team's first in the last 2 minutes.
Morris has 16 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds.
For Denver. Shooting 2.
You know, should I ask a trivia question here? Who has the only triple-double, the only other triple-double in Summer League history? You'll never get it.
Kobe Carl.
No, but he's
one of the leading scorers, right?
That's right.
I just figured I'd throw it out.
That's right. Channing Frye had one in 2005. Points, rebounds, and fouls.
Because you're allowed 10 fouls.
And he had 10.
He fouled out, though.
That's tough to do.
That's a full-grown morsel.
Thank you, Mr. Freed. 90 seconds to go. Nuggets with a 4-point lead. Got a loose ball, foul, and he's going to go against the Nuggets as DJ Wilson was fighting for a position down low. Devon Akun-Purcell gets called for the foul. Side out.
I liked Wilson at least pursuing that ball. I mean, like, instead of following the flight of the ball, he's active. That's what he needs to do consistently with his length and athleticism.
Brown behind the screen. Trey Bell-Haynes coming up with a loose ball. Bell-Haynes out of Vermont. Outstanding player in the America East. And he'll get himself to the free throw line with 1:09 left in the game.
On Denver's number 5.
Trey Bell-Haynes, two-time America East Player of the Year, getting set to shoot 2. Summer League action continues tonight in Las Vegas. On NBA TV right now, that Orlando-Phoenix game going on, and then coming up at 11:30 Eastern time, the Clippers and the Rockets from Las Vegas. Late night hoops on the East Coast. Perfect time here in the Pacific time zone.
You like that young Clipper backcourt?
I do like that young Clipper backcourt. Robinson, the young man out of Boston College. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander from Kentucky.
You like Luke Rashad Mbamute?
Good pickup today.
Defensive maturity.
I think Doc Rivers did a heck of a job last year, despite all the trades, and of course no DeAndre Jordan anymore, and CP3 and Blake Griffin gone as well.
Would you like to see the Clippers move out of the Lakers home court? I'm putting you on the spot here today.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
I mean,
Yes.
it's hard
have
for
their
two
own
NBA
identity.
teams to share the same arena, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like the Yankees and the Mets playing at the stadium.
And they're always considered the visitor. Almost you feel like you're in somebody else's building, though, you know, the Clippers have had the run of the city for the last few years. Might be coming to an end.
Oh, the Jets and the Giants. He's right on top of it. And it's weird to me. I mean, like, how can New York not have two stadiums? The Jets should be out in the island anyway.
Got a couple $1 billion. Build another one.
Someone on Long Island could build a stadium. Come on, man.
4-point game here in Las Vegas. Timeout. Final 52 3/10 coming up. Shake a couple million out of Seth's couch. Back at Cox Pavilion, 52 seconds to go, 87-83. Denver clinging to its lead over Milwaukee, trying to go to 3-0 here in the Summer League and get toward the top of the seedings. When the tournament portion, they'll seed it 1 through 30 for the first time. Starting on Wednesday, the bracket round will begin, and a champion will be determined a week from today. It is Monday, right? I lose track of days out here.
Totally lose track of days and lose track of time.
Tuesday, a week from tomorrow, is the championship game.
And you'll be here, beginning to end.
I won't, unfortunately. I will be in Washington, D.C., but I'll be watching you.
Oh, I'm done.
You're gone, right?
Yeah, I'm done. Man. Tomorrow, and then got to get ready for a little grassroots basketball next week.
We have the extra day this year. The tournament expanded to 12 days. So Tuesday, a week from tomorrow, will be the championship game. 4-point game, Denver the lead. Here, steal by Travis Trice. And now a foul will afford 2 free throws for Devon Akun-Purcell.
And to me, that's a perfect example. Akun-Purcell saw a gap, no hesitation, ripped that thing right through. Obviously, the defense was extended because they're trying to run through a passing lane, and he just goes and attacks. Makes a basketball play.
17 points working and a miss on the first free throw. Trey Bell-Haynes checking back in for Milwaukee. Devon Akun-Purcell, undrafted a couple of years ago out of Illinois State. He's had success over in Europe and having a good summer league so far. 18 points, 5-point lead for the Denver Nuggets. Trice with the pull-up. Batted out of bounds. Last touch by Morris.
Wait a second. Oh, here we go.
There we go. We're going to have the challenge.
It needs the noise. It's a nice. Green means go. I mean, if you're going to challenge it, it probably should be red for stop the game. I have a challenge.
The 4th challenge at Cox Pavilion this week. Here's your first look at it. We'll sort it out here in Las Vegas and be back with 30.7 left. 5-point lead. All right, the officials are talking it over after looking at video review. We've got a Summer League experimental rule with the coaches asking for a review, and it will stay Milwaukee Bucks basketball. So they'll lose the timeout and their ability to challenge again, last touching the hands of Monte Morris. As Denver wanted to get the challenge here. Saw it go out of bounds. The Milwaukee players You'll see a lot of times they'll wag their fingers around, and then the coach ran over, and there you go. Smack the challenge. Oh, he hit the light first instead of the button. Christian Wood. Put back, no. Out of bounds to Denver with 23 seconds. Challenge light, by the way, was still blinking, but no challenge there with 23 seconds to go. The challenge light on the Denver side
Can
is
never
solid.
get enough challenge lights.
Yes.
Needs to be red and needs to have a noise.
All right, well, it serves its purpose. You like the experimental rule?
Yeah, I think it's an experimental rule. I can't see it carrying through. Here's my deal. The things that they're challenging are things the officials should be aware of anyway. And, you know, as you see, there's a long list of things that can be challenged, but it makes sense.
So since the challenge was unsuccessful,
you lose your timeout.
You lose your timeout and lose challenges. Now the officials can still go without a challenge to the monitor. So we may be getting a challenge from the other side on this out of bounds.
A double challenge.
I didn't see the light lit. Let's take a look at it. The refs are over there looking. It kind of pinballed. Oh, and it went off the leg of Kenrich Williams, I think, last.
They're not looking at the monitor. Yeah, they did.
I think they went previously, and that is the ruling. It went off of Kenrich Williams. It'll be Milwaukee ball. So they had challenged.
And they get another challenge.
They don't lose their timeout, and they still have one more left. So those are the parts.
So you get two challenges if you're right.
If you're right the first time, you get the second, and that's it.
I'd like a flag. You should throw the flag right in the middle.
You want
of the
like
court.
Belichick, where you reach down for the red penalty flag in your sock and toss it out on the court?
How do you think Pop would throw that thing?
No response from me. Here's Trice off the inbound. Bucks down 5. DJ Wilson against Chanchar. Oh, pass stolen by Monte Morris. On the run out, lays it in. Timeout called. I think DJ Wilson was caught where he wanted to make a move, got cut off nicely, and then trying to get rid of the ball. Morris he had no chance to get there.
And he's just got to be stronger right there. But Monte Morris reading the passing lane, and the Denver Nuggets looking to go undefeated before the playoffs.
Old school Denver Nuggets uniforms on display here in Cox Pavilion.
I like those uniforms.
Yeah, 90-83, and you like what Monte Morris has delivered with 20 points so far, including a big steal and score.
Monte Morris has improved defensively. He's an alert defender off the ball, ran through that pass, but more importantly, he understands how to run a team. And your second unit point guard needs to take care of the basketball, get you an offense, and make sure the right people are getting touches. And that's who he is. And I thought he's really played well with good pace and a good understanding of where the ball needed to go and when it needed to get there.
Makes it a 3-possession game with 12 seconds to go. Sterling Brown overshoots the rim. Chanchar the rebound, and they can dribble out the final 5 seconds of this Summer League game. Nice start to the Summer League for the Denver Nuggets. They'll go to 3-0 heading into the tournament play starting on Wednesday as they knock off the Milwaukee Bucks 90-83. Milwaukee falling to 1-2. Monte Morris 20 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. The former Iowa State guard who had that two-way and certainly looks like he's in position to have that backup point guard position for the Denver Nuggets this year.
I think they had a number of guys contribute in a positive way. I thought Tyler Lydon knocked down some big shots. I thought Akun Purcell showed activity and athleticism and did some really positive things. Their team as in general, I thought was pretty connected on both ends.
All right, let's toss down to Cassidy Hubbard, who's with Monte Morris.
Monte, 20-8 tonight. You have 49 in the 3 games so far. This is your second year in Vegas. How would you describe your comfort level out here?
I give a big shout out to the G League, because when I was playing in the G League, Coach Braz down there at RGV let me get a lot of game reps, and it's definitely developed my game, and everything slowed down out here. And going back up to Denver, up and down, competing with those guys got me a lot better. So I take my hat off to both units.
You on that 2-way contract, played 3 games last year for the Denver Nuggets. We know that you're competing for that backup point guard spot. What are you hoping to prove out here?
You know that I'm a dog. Whoever come out in front of me, I just want to win, and I'm gonna compete at a high level. It's just a flint tip that that I carried, and that my guys like Miles Bridges, Kyle Kuzma carry. So it's just something that we try to drive for and play hard every time we lace up.
Kyle Kuzma won the Summer League title here last year. You guys are first team to 3-0 in the Summer League. What kind of momentum would you describe you guys have here heading into tournament play?
It's a good momentum, but at the end of the day, we can win one game. We can't get complacent with success. We got to keep getting better and watching film, and we trying to make a big push. But we 3-0, but the big time tournament's coming up soon. We just got to be ready.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Back to you.
All right, Cass, thanks a lot. Monte Morris, outstanding game with those 20 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds as well, Seth.
Yeah, I thought he played with great pace, great poise, and great purpose. I thought he got other people involved. He made enough shots to keep people honest. He got in the lane. He showed some toughness. But to me, it's all about his leadership. I think it's all about, as a second unit guard, you've got to get your team in offense. You've got to distribute the basketball, and you've got to get the ball into the right people's hands in the right place.
Had 15 points in the Summer League opener Friday. Added 14 points, 6 assists on Saturday. 20 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds for Monte Morris here tonight. As we welcome you back courtside, Seth Greenberg, Mark Kestisher. So big win for the Denver Nuggets to go to 3-0. And Sterling Brown on the other side in a loss for Milwaukee ended up with 27 points, the high score.
Sterling Brown was really impressive. His size, his strength, his toughness. He can play the point. He can play off the ball. Honestly, I like big guards, and he's a big physical guard. He uses his body to create separation. He can get to the rack. He can shoot the 3. And then defensively, he's really a physical, tough defender.
Sterling Brown with 20 points in that victory. And when we came on the air, we talked about Devon Kuhn-Purcell, who got the start today in the ballgame, and he's now delivered for them 2 games in a row.
Yeah, I think he was really good. He's extremely active. He's an alert defender who plays very hard on the defensive end. He rebounds his position, and offensively, he can shoot it, he can rack it, he goes to the glass, and he's an NBA-type athlete with length and explosiveness. Made some terrific passes and extremely competitive. He's a guy that looks like, again, you're looking to earn a roster spot. What can you bring to the table as a second unit player? You've got to bring energy, you've got to have a skill set, you've got to have toughness. He possesses all 3.
Yep, and with Mike Budenholzer in the crowd, obviously watching and evaluating as well. Had a nice finish to the second half of the year. They've got an outstanding team coming back, a team that took Boston to 7 games as the Bucks fall to Denver, and now we look forward to our next game, the Nets and the Timberwolves, and that's a good sign for Nets fans. Jarrett Allen will be on the floor. Nets fans who watch their Summer League team haven't had a chance to watch some of their bigger players like Karis LeVert, and will miss out again. They've got some foreign players who are still dealing with buyouts, but good to see Jarrett Allen on the floor.
Yeah, Jarrett Allen, you're talking about 7'5" wingspan, a very good passer, can protect the rim and defend multiple positions. The guy's got great hair, too. I mean, I know you're jealous of that, but he's got a real potential to be a very impactful player because of his athleticism and his length. You'd like to see his motor stay consistent. If he can learn to compete each and every play and use that athleticism, and as he fills out again, we're talking about a young developing player and a young developing body. He has a chance, had a terrific rookie season.
And a guy who will be making his Summer League debut. He was here last year, but because of his injury, was not able to play in the Summer League. So for the first time, we'll get a chance to see Jarrett Allen in a Summer League scenario for a Brooklyn Nets team that, had a small uptick last year. They got a ways to go. But we'll get a chance to see him with some of his younger teammates.
Yeah, and Theo Pinson will be interesting to see. You talk about in Summer League, you want guys with good energy. Well, Theo Pinson, he's like the Energizer Bunny. I mean, that guy brings personality, energy, toughness, and versatility. It'd be fun to watch him play. And then you see they play Tyler Davis some from Texas A&M. Put his name in the draft, knowing he wasn't going to get drafted, but stayed in. Low post player with a big body and good hands. Kind of tough in the new NBA. Where does he defend? But a talented player.
This game will be starting at 11:03 Eastern Time here on ESPNU as the Nets and Timberwolves are warming up over at the Thomas and Mack Center, which is just a short walk from Cox Pavilion across the way.